Hi Gabby, it's been a long time since I've made you a video, and so hopefully you're getting caught up on some of the Bible study, but I do know you're very busy, and again, it's about the journey, not about the time. So don't worry about things too much. I am now in week 6, I believe. Let me look to be sure. Maybe it's week 7. Nope, week 6. Jesus Under Pressure. It starts on page 25. And before you delve into the Bible study, I wanted to give you some more background, which you may have heard me say some of this before. But the first part of the video, I want to talk about Elizabeth and Zacharias. And you can find this story in Luke chapter 1. You know your Bible does have an index if you need to find what page number it's on. And it starts in verse 5, and I think goes through the rest of the chapter, or through verse 40 anyway. So, Zacharias was a Levite priest, and the Levites, if you were a Levite and you were a man, you were more than likely in the priesthood. And they had lots of different jobs for priests, different priests to do. And Zechariah was an older elderly man up in his years, as well as his wife, way past childbearing age. And he probably, I don't know, I'm just inferring, but probably had a real hard time sometimes because he didn't have any children. And back then, if you didn't have children, you were looked down upon, and you were thought, well, God didn't bless you with children. You must have done something wrong. Did you sin in your life? What have you done? And so he probably did not get to do some things that the priest would get to do, just simply because of his lack of having children. So, but he was of the tribe of Levi, and finally he gets chosen by lots. They cast lots, and they get to decide by the lots being cast who gets to burn the incense for worship. And burning the incense for worship was very important back then. And if you got to do this, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. A priest usually didn't get to do it but once in his life. Usually got to do it before he was as old as Zechariah. So I'm sure he was very excited about getting to do this. And the burning of the incense symbolized their prayers lifting up, and you could see the smoke and lifting up and going up to God as the incense burned. And the priest would burn it in the holy place, right in front of the Holy of Holies in the church. The Holy of Holies was a place that the priest would go only once a year to make atonement for everybody's sins. And and that's a whole nother story. So I'm going to stick with just Zechariah right now. But Zechariah was in the temple burning the incense when an angel, and that angel was Gabriel, came to him. And Zechariah didn't recognize who the angel was at first, and he told him he was going to have a son, and his name was going to be John. And Zechariah, of course, same thing I would do. Well, how can this be? And are you sure? And because of his lack of faith, the angel says, you know what? You're not going to be able to speak until the baby is born. So Zechariah, I'm sure he's very elated, but he comes out, he can't speak, and everybody thinks, oh, he must have had a vision. He must have seen something because he can't speak. So I'm sure his writing skills greatly improved during those 9 months. But he had to go home and get him some papyrus or something and explain to Elizabeth that she was going to eventually have a baby. And she did. But while this was going on, and Elizabeth was 6 months pregnant, Elizabeth was related to Mary, the mother of Jesus. And Mary, when Elizabeth was 6 months old, that's when Gabriel came to her and said, you're a virgin, but you're going to have a baby, and you're going to name him Jesus. And so that's when Mary decided, well, you know what? I want to go and I want to see my cousin Elizabeth and I want to spend some time with her. So she made the journey of several days to get to Elizabeth's house. And when Elizabeth saw her, the baby John the Baptist, he's come to know, leapt inside of her, because he just something that happened. I guess he knew that, or Elizabeth says, I feel like my baby, knows that you are going to have a baby too, and his name is going to be Jesus. So as it turns out, Elizabeth had her baby. She, when it came time to name the baby, Zechariah wrote down everybody was thinking, oh, his name will be Zechariah, the second or something. But no, he wrote his name down and said his name will be John, because that's what the angel had told him. And when he did that, then immediately he could speak again.